Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. North here, but you can call me Jacob. And in today's Destiny 2 build video, I got for you the Arc Palpatine Warlock build. Are you tired of running Prismatic Warlock or Prismatic in general? For me, I kind of want to spice things up or just use something different because, the game's kind of dry right now, and I was just going through some of my exotic armor. And I seen on the artifact mod there was some juicy artifact perks, and I wanted to try it out with this build. So let's get up into this. Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe if you like the channel and you enjoy it. We're still doing Destiny 2 here, but let's get into the exotic armor piece we're going to be pairing together in this build. We're going to be using Fallen Sunstar. So what this helmet does, it pairs super well with Arc subclass that we're using here today. Where ionic traces you create move faster and grant you additional ability energy. Nearby allies also gain ability energy when you collect the ionic trace. So we are pairing this today with the exotic auto rifle Centrifuse. Centrifuse is a exotic energy arc auto rifle. So this pretty much builds into the fantasy of being, that Palpatine, electrostatic, just electrocuting everything. So the intrinsic exotic trait reads as sprinting, sliding, and firing. This weapon builds a temporary electrostatic charge, increasing range and reload speed. Final blows with high charge cause explosions, and maximum charge explosions blind targets. And the regenerative motion, sprinting gradually reloads this weapon. So it goes hand in hand with sprinting and sliding. There's a little bar at the bottom of your screen, as you can see in the gameplay. You charge that up and then you get kills, and it leaves an explosion and blinds. The catalyst, while amplified, this weapon gradually gains overcharge. Super nice. Let's get into the artifact. The artifact is gonna make this build just insanely, just so good. This is a Master Lost Sector right here, so that is the gameplay I am using, and it actually steamrolled this Lost Sector. So let's get into the first artifact mod or artifact perk that we want in this build, and that is Sustained Fire. So what this does is continuously damaging combatants with an auto rifle grants you damage resistance. So this is going to help you stay alive. And being on the Arc subclass, we don't have any restoration or devour, so this is going to be really useful when you are rocking Arc. I'm pretty much just bored of Prismatic Warlock, and I just want to try new things. And this is probably not a meta build, but it's a fun build. That's what is important to me. So that is the first artifact perk that we are going to be using. The second one is Targeting Autoloader. What this perk does, while you have an auto rifle equipped, defeating combatants reloads your equipped weapon and temporarily increases weapon damage. So it's kind of like Subsistence, but it gives you that bonus weapon damage. Awards bonus progress when dealing final blows while surrounded. So this is just tying in the auto rifle spam with Centrifuse. And the next artifact perk that we are going to need, and this is honestly probably the most important one out of the three that I'm recommending, and that is Shock and Awe. What this artifact perk does is when you have an Arc or Prismatic subclass equipped, Arc final blows while you are amplified summons a burst of lightning that damages and jolts targets. So you have to be amplified, which we are going to always be amplified with this build. You're going to pretty much just throw a nade and you're amplified, and just throw a storm nade. We're going to get into the subclass here in a second, which it is going to be purely Arc subclass. We're not using Prismatic. So let's get into the Fragments here, and we are going to be getting into all that juicy stuff. We're going to get into the Fragments and the aspects. So let's get into the aspects first. The first aspect that you want to go for on this build is Electrostatic Mine. What this fragment or aspect does, is defeating targets with arc abilities or defeating jolted or blinded targets creates a ionic trace. Collecting an ionic trace makes you amplified. So like I said, you're constantly going to be amplified. And the second aspect that you want for this build, and I'm going with, is Arc Souls. So what Arc Souls do is pretty much just gives you a little arc buddy on the side if you do not know. When you cast your Rift, it creates an Arc Soul that fires a target at targets in front of you. And allies can actually get this as well. So when you're amplified, your Arc Souls do more damage and have increased rate of fire, which is super nice. Alright, now let's get into the fragments for this build. Probably the most important, actually the most important like perks or mods for this build is definitely the artifact mods, so do not forget to put those on like I explained, because to be honest, it's probably the most important for this build. Alright, so now let's get into the fragments. The first fragment I'm going with is Spark of Feedback. So Spark of Feedback, taking melee damage briefly increases your outgoing melee damage. So you're going to be getting a little bit more melee damage on your melee here on Warlock. I'm not using the Electro Slide because you have no Devour or anything. You know, it's kind of it's a little more risky on actual Arc than using Prismatic, because you can just slide up in there, get a kill with Devour, and have the Electro Slide combined with that. So for the second fragment, I'm going to be going with Spark of Shock. So Spark of Shock, your arc grenades jolt targets. This is probably the most important out of all four of the fragments you're going to have, because you do want that jolt. It is really nice. It just pairs well with the Palpatine fantasy. So that is the second fragment. For the third fragment, you want Spark of Magnitude. Spark of Magnitude, what it does, your lingering arc grenades, lightning grenades, pulse grenades, and storm grenades have extended duration. So it's pretty much going to buff your storm grenade. That is what I am running here. Storm grenade and storm caller. I'm not using Chaos Reach. I am using Storm, which is honestly not a bad super for ad clearance. It works really well for me for ad clearance. So that is what I am running here on the Palpatine. And it just fits well with the Palpatine fantasy. For the final fragment, you want Spark of Brilliance. So what Brilliance does, it defeating a blinded target with precision damage creates a blinding explosion. So if you get an enemy blinded, pretty much with Centrifuse, and you kill them precision hit, it's going to create a big explosion, and that's going to pair well with the artifact mod that we explained earlier in the video. So those are the fragments, those are the aspects, and yeah, so I'm running Storm Grenade, I'm running a Rift, I'm running Arc Souls, all that, Storm Car. I'm not running Chaos Reach because I don't know, I just don't have Geomag, so I feel no need to. But yeah, you know, this build is just for fun, something different. You know, I completed a Master Lost sector with it. I'm pretty sure I can complete a GM with this, with the whole, you know, the fire team. Probably not solo, but definitely with the fire team. But I do appreciate you guys watching my content. Thanks for the people who hit the like button and subscribe, you know. Welcome to the family. We're not stopping D2 here, so we're going to keep going with the game and having fun. So I appreciate everybody watching, and I hope you guys all have a good one. Hopefully I catch you on the next one. Peace!